Phases of globalization. The emergence of the current structure of global can mainly be articulated within three major phases. Number one is the first phase, immobile factors of production. This phase concerns a conservative outlook in international trade that existed until 1970, where factors of production were greatly, there was a less mobility. Before the conclusion of World War I, global trade was mostly controlled by colonial relations, but was quite unregulated. There was a restricted level of mobility of raw materials, parts, and finished products. Following World War I, international trade became somewhat irregulated with barriers like tariffs, quotas, and limitations for foreign ownership. Trade chiefly focused on niche particular products, especially commodities, and a very little services that was not really readily accessible in regional economies. Owing to regulations, protectionism, and rather high transportation costs continued to be limited and delayed by incompetent freight distribution. In this situation, trade was more an application to deal with storage that encourage economic of efficiency. Example of this is number one, natural resources. Number two, geographical features. Number three is the infrastructure. And lastly, the labor force. The second phase is the mobility of factors of production. As the 1980s, the mobility factors of production, predominantly capital, become achievable. The legal and physical environment in which international trade was happening showed way to improve realization of the comparative advantages of specific locations. Along with traditional trade, legitimate surface of the global trade framework was reinforced from a legal and transactional standpoint, or when it comes to general agreement of tariffs and trade world trade organization and long distance trade flows as the air traffic due to high production costs, religious activities were labor intensive were gradually transferred to the lower cost locations. The process began as a national one, then went to nearby countries when possible, and afterwards become a truly global phenomenon. Thus, foreign direct investments surge mostly towards new manufacturing regions as multinational corporations become more and more flexible in the global positioning of their assets. So for the third phase, global production networks. There is an expansion in international trade, now including a wide variety of services that were formerly fixed to regional markets and surge in mobility of the factors of production. Since these trends are well recognized, the main concern is now shifting to a geographical and functional integration of production, distribution, and consumption of the surface global production networks. Multi-faceted networks relating to flows of information, commodities, parts, and finished goods have been set, which turn into demands of high-level command of logistics and freight distribution. In such environment, powerful actors have appeared who are not openly involved in the function of production and retailing, but chiefly taking the responsibility of managing the web of flows. So the global economic system is characterized by a growing level of integrated services, financial, retail, manufacturing, and distribution. This in turn is mainly the product improved transport and logistics, a more efficient exploitation of regional and comparative advantages in a transactional environment supportive to the legal and financial competence of global trade. The volume exchange goods and services between nations is taking a growing share of the generation of the wealth, mostly by offering economic growth opportunities in new regions and by reducing the cost of wide array of manufacturing goods. By 2007, international trade surpassed for the first time 50% of global GDP, a twofold increase each year in 1950.
Good morning everyone, my name is James Aaron de la Cruz from Automotive 31. A huge factor of cost different manufacturing costs at different production location are considered in isolation, and gaps are mainly due to the labor cost. The development of the labor has become congruent to prosperity in rich country wage go up while in the proper economies wage increase is limited. Gross growth rates Europe and North America sure with the upset of industrial revolution. Second, high growth in emerging market. Emerging market are experience high growth in the some sector in relatives as well as in absolute market value. As a result, market upside the highly industrialized nation are becoming more and more attractive, particularly for manufacturing companies. Third, lower transaction costs are particularly obstacle from global production has been transaction costs. This is from the angle of the entire value chain are not from the individual location. And the fourth one, lower communication cost. The impressive advancement in commercial technology has been a good contributor in lowering transaction cost. And the last one, fewer trade barriers. The dissolution of the East-West divide and the fall in the Iron Curtain has changed the world politically. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. So, my topic is goals of global production. Global production. The main reason why the companies set their eyes on globalization, marketing, development, and cost reduction. The other reasons include low sourcing of supplied parts, high grade knowledge and qualification, and avoid business risks like float, fluctuation of exchange rate. These motives, together with the two reason, the two main reasons, basically played significant roles in globalization decisions. So there are two main reasons of globalization decisions. First is the global impact. Global impact. Product is in new marketing is a significant element of for expansion of local sales and service capabilities. The main motive is transactions cost for impact product that will make them too expensive. Other reason is that product can be very flexible enough to local market needs. Other disposed is the gain in image and trust in relation to the customers from the local manufacturing, plus the elimination of country regulation required on import products. The last reason is the cost impact. Cost impact. Another drive for more firms to set up production in new locales is due to cost advantage. The decision on where to locate productions operations is based on calculation on total land cost consisting of total production and transportation costs for entire productive value chain. So that's all my for now.
My topic is Global Production Network and Location Strategies. Global Production Network is a concept in developmental literature which refers to the nexus of interrelated functions, operation, and transactions by which a specific product or service is produced, distributed, and consumed. Global production networks can be structured into two types, of which multi-domestic and globally integrated structures. First, multi-domestic. This type concerns operations where each market is serviced independently. It can relate to simple products that are trouble-free to reproduce but expensive to transport over long distances. Production can be integrated globally while the marketing is multi-domestic, reflecting cultural and consumer preferences differences. The goal is thus to better respond the needs of every market. This involves an independency and productivity with implication that the efficiencies and productivities achieved in each markets are not related to those taking place in other markets. So, ang mga example yan ng mga multi-domestic ay like mga big nga mga company like mga McDonald's, mga KFC o Nestle. And then the second is globally integrated. In this type, systems of productions are located in several countries and generally concerning complex products, logistics, activities are extremely significant as production and distribution capabilities require being effectively reconciled. This entails independency and productivity as each element of the supply chain directly impacts the cost and the quality of the finished product. For globally integrated, there are four major location strategies for global production networks. First is the centralized global production. The entire production happens in only a single nation or region and it's exported subsequently on the global market. The second is the regional production. Takes place in each region that produce a good with the size of the production systems associated to the size of the regional market. The third is regional specialization. This global production network entails a special division of the production based on comparative advantages. Each region focuses in the production of a specific good and imports from other regions what it needs. And the last is the vertical transactional integrations. This global production networks is another variation of specialization. The different stages of the production takes place at location providing the best comparative advantages. Raw materials are extracted from location where they are the most accessible, while assembly is carried out in regions having low labor cost or high skill levels depending on the type of product or the stage in its manufacturing. And that's all.